What's up everybody, it's your boy Skipx here with another video for you guys here today, and what we are going to be talking about is every single original Kingdom Hearts character in the series up till this point, and we are going to be ranking them based off of their perceived power levels. So this is going to be a lot of headcanon in my case, because you know Kingdom Hearts doesn't like to really power scale their characters, even though there usually is a general hierarchy when it comes to the various characters that we see throughout the series. So that being said, we're going to start off with the very easy ones, which is Hayner, Pence, and Olette. These three characters, while they have been here since Kingdom Hearts 2, and a lot of people like these characters, quite frankly, they're useless when it comes to a fight, and there really isn't much more to say on that specific topic. But also going next to the top of the list, the Master of Masters, obviously. He's the man who was trained to fight Foretellers plus Lucio and was overseeing all of them during the events of Kingdom Hearts Key up until his eventual disappearance, and is apparently setting in motion all of the current events that are happening right now within Kingdom Hearts. So that being said, there really isn't much more to say about his power level. Moving on from there, I'm going to go ahead and put Squiletia in D tier, and the reason why she's going to be here in D tier is mainly because of the fact that while she was a competent Keyblade wielder and was chosen to be one of the 5 Dandelion leaders, she has never really had a fight or something to say that she's anything other than just an average Keyblade wielder coming from the time of Foretellers. So we have to put her at least on D above the useless characters, but be putting her on C or anything higher than that would be kind of hard to do in my personal opinion. Okay, so moving on from there, we're also going to get, where is he? Ansem the Wise on E tier. Again, another character who is somewhat useful outside of combat, him being the Sage King and doing all of the research into the heart that he has done. Also, but the thing is, all of that research doesn't equate to combat ability, and he has never really helped out in a fight once again. Moving on from there, we're also going to go ahead and throw Cheerfy down here. While they do assist the Keyblade wielders during the age of Foretellers, they aren't really the strongest beings on their own. Once again, nominate the Nobody of Kairi. Again, a character who has a pretty crazy ability to be able to manipulate the memories of Sora and those close to him, but again, her ability doesn't necessarily translate into power necessarily. She's never been shown to be a capable user of a Keyblade, and with that being said, we're going to talk about her somebody, Kairi, and I know a lot of people are going to be very upset with her being on the E tier, but just hear me out. The reason why Squiletia is somebody who was essentially assassinated as soon as we learned about her existence, as opposed to Kairi, who we have seen fight on a couple of occasions. The reason why Kairi has to be on E tier, while she could take a hit and she wouldn't necessarily be one-shotted by anybody in the higher tiers, is just the simple fact that Kairi has only been shown to fight on 2 separate occasions, and on the second time that she was fighting, which is in Kingdom Hearts 3, where she was facing off against Sayax, Xion, and Xemnas, she immediately got captured afterwards and was basically useless for the entirety of the rest of the battle. So while I do like Kairi, I think she's a pretty cool character, and I can't wait for them to expand on her more in the future Kingdom Hearts games. Again, she's another character who is pretty much useless when it comes to an actual fight within this series. Moving on from there, I'm going to start a new tier going into C, and I'm going to put all of the Dandelion leaders up there, with the exception of Marluxia. So we are going to go ahead and put Ephemer, Scold, Brain, and Brain and Ventus all in C tier. They're all Dandelion leaders. They were specifically chosen by the Master of Masters and were found by Ava, so they have to have something special about each of them in order to qualify them to be leaders of unions. They have to have some certain level of strength that at least would let other Keyblade wielders under them know that they're not to be messed with, and that's why they're the leaders of the specific unions, hopefully. And then moving on from there, obviously, if you're going to put Ventus in one tier, you have to put his dark half in there as well, which is obviously Vanitas. They're two sides of the same coin, so wherever one goes, the other one has to be right there beside them. Their strength is proportionally equal to each other, mainly because they're two halves of the same heart, basically. And then we're also going to throw in a couple of more people here on this tier, and I'm going to put Lexius here. I'm also going to put Zald in here, Loxine as well, but that could very much change in the future, Luxlord, and Demix. The reason why these 5 members of the original Organization 13 are going to be on this tier is mainly because while they have decent strength and decent things in all types of categories, like Lexius being outright one of the physically strongest characters in the series, Zaldin being unique with his wind magic, which we don't see a lot in the Kingdom Hearts series, Loxine being extremely fast to the point where she makes clones of herself, Luxlord with his gambling as his various cards, and last but not least Demix with his various water clones, which is really funny that he's one of the weaker members, but he can summon water clones up the butt. Doesn't make any sense, but all of these characters have very unique things about all of their fighting styles, which leads me to believe that they're very good in one aspect, but they're not exactly the most well-rounded characters outside of those specific aspects of their combat. And to be honest, that's how a lot of people are when they fight, but if I have to really judge them, I don't see them beating anybody being above, to be honest. So we're going to explain that when we get up to B tier. But just to finish out C tier and below, we're going to throw Zexion, and we're actually going to throw Vexen and even Riku Replica in the D tier. And I'm going to explain these 3 really quickly. Vexen and Zexion are both scientists at heart. As you can see through their various fighting styles, they don't exactly like to be the most hand-on when it comes to their fighting styles. Zexion uses illusions through the book that he wields, and Vexen likes to dominate people with his ice magic and doesn't like to get in too close a lot of the times, and they're just honestly some of the weaker members. Sword easily defeated Vexen in one go, and then Zexion again easily got defeated by Riku in Castle Oblivion as well, and then later got absorbed by Riku Replica. And when it comes to Riku Replica, the reason why he is going to be on D tier is simply because of the fact between Riku and Sora, he fought them 6 times. He fought Riku, if I'm correct, 2 times during his story mode in Castle Oblivion, and then he fought Sora on 4 separate occasions in Castle Oblivion, and he lost every single time. That is a part of the story. He lost every single time. He has not won one singular fight that he has been in, period. So while he may be a replica of Riku, he is nowhere near the original, and he is damn sure not anywhere near where Sora was in Castle Oblivion, which leads me to put him on D tier. While he is capable, he can definitely slay Heartless and nobodies of lesser classes. He's not really going to be defeating anybody above him, as you would see. So next we're going to jump into Young Xehanort. Obviously this is a character who has been hopping throughout time, and it's really hard to scale Young Xehanort, mainly because he's a time traveler, so we don't know how much of his power is necessarily his own. Could he kind of be getting his power from Master Xehanort himself, and that such thing? We don't really know, but from what we have seen in the story, he is a very capable Keyblade wielder. He's able to use Keyblade transformations to an extreme degree. He's an extremely fast character. He uses time magic like it's just second nature to him, and has been going head to head and toe to toe with other Keyblade wielders in this time, like Sora and Riku, but has never outright beaten them because he was beaten by Riku at the end of Dream Drop Distance, and has never really gotten the upper hand on Sora, even in the fight near the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, where he had Xemnas and Ansem Seeker of Darkness backing him up. So he has to be somewhere around the middle of the pack. While he's not necessarily weak, he definitely isn't messing with anybody above this tier. He's most likely going to lose to anybody in this tier. So next we're going to fill out the rest of B tier, which I believe is going to be Saïx, Axel, and Xion. The reason why Xion and Axel are going to be on the same level with each other is simply because at the end of Kingdom Hearts days, they basically dueled each other damn near to a draw, because when Axel did eventually beat Xion and bring her back to the castle, he was basically on his deathbed, and he that fight could have went either way if Xion just had maybe gotten a hit or two more in. So we have to essentially count that fight as a draw, seeing as he was in no condition to fight as soon as he brought her back because he had passed out immediately afterwards. And then considering that Skipx and Axel have been together for the majority of their life and they pretty much know the ins and outs of each other, I would imagine a fight between them would be pretty damn even. And from what we've seen in Kingdom Hearts 3, the only reason why Skipx got the upper hand on Axel is because Axel had to cover for Sora and Kairi while they were fighting all together. That's really the only reason why Axel got injured and pretty much got put out of commission during that battle. And seeing as Axel is the assassin of the group sent to basically hunt down people that need to be taken out efficiently, it wouldn't be that crazy for him to be one of the top 4 or 5 people in the organization, at least when we're talking about the original Organization 13. So that's why I assume that these characters are all on the same tier. And seeing as, like I said, young Xehanort isn't exactly shown to be too strong or even too weak, I think all of these characters can sit around this middle tier. Okay, getting into the final tiers right here, we're going to go ahead and kind of fill these out. So in A tier, we are actually going to have to fill out a bit of these pieces. When it comes to the Foretellers, Envy, Gula, and Ava, in my opinion, are always shown to be somewhat weaker than Aced and Era, mainly because Aced was triple teamed by Envy, Ava, and Gula and somehow managed to hold all 3 of them off, and then later on sometime while still injured managed to one-shot Gula somehow, which shows to me that his strength, at least when it comes to his overall combat ability, far exceeds all 3 of these characters. If they were all to fight ones-on-ones, he would probably beat any 3 of these characters, and seeing as Era was chosen to be the original leader of the 5 unions and take the place of the Master of Masters, even though we all know that that was a ploy by the Master to kind of set everybody up into his giant plan, we have to assume that Era is somewhere on the same level as Aced when it comes to combat ability. So that's why these 3 are going to sit down here in A tier and these other 2 are going to be up here in S. And while we're on the topic of the Foretellers, we're going to put Lucio in S tier as well, a character who has held his own with various Keyblade wielders throughout the years while not being able to use his weapon of choice. We have to understand that Xigbar or Lucio, whichever one you want to call him, has not had the use of his actual preferred weapon for literal years at this point. It has been using some weird arrow gun type of weapon and has been managing to hold his own on more than a few occasions with various Keyblade wielders at this point. So it only summarizes to me that he probably is going to be even more of a problem when we actually see him use his Keyblade in its full capacity. I can't wait to see him in Kingdom Hearts 4 and beyond bodying people. Okay, A tier. To finish out A tier, we are going to put Terra, Aqua, and Ansem Seeker of Darkness on A tier. And the reason for this is Terra was at one point Terranort, which is basically a combination of Terra and Master Xehanort, and that version of himself was actually trumped and defeated by Aqua single-handedly, with a little bit of assistance by Terra interfering with Terranort. Aqua was able to defeat Terra's body and all of the power that came with it by herself, but at the same time, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, who is basically the Heartless of Terranort, ended up defeating Aqua at the same time. So these 3 kind of are in this backwards thing where Aqua has defeated Terranort/Terra, but Ansem Seeker of Darkness has actually defeated Aqua, but at the same time, Terra at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of overcame himself being the Guardian and then defeated Terranort. It's very weird how I want to scale this, but these 3 kind of sit upon the same tier where all 3 of these guys can swap blows all day, and it's a toss-up to who could actually win the battle, in my personal opinion. And now, last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and fill out the rest of this, which is S tier. So Master Xehanort, Ericus, Sora, Riku, Roxas, Marluxia, who is actually going to sit down here in A tier, and Xemnas, who's going to sit here in S tier. So let's go ahead and go over each of these characters. So Marluxia, the main big bad of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. While Marluxia is a very strong character, and I would easily put him over every member in the organization with the exception of Roxas And Xemnas, he was beaten by a Sora whose only experience fighting up until that point was all of Kingdom Hearts 1 and all of the experiences that he had in Castle Oblivion. So while I would say that he is stronger than every other member except for the two above him, we have to also put into context how strong Sora was when he was initially defeated, and seeing as we didn't really see too much of that power in Kingdom Hearts 3, mainly due to game design, not actual context of the story. But again, he was defeated pretty handily by Sora and Mickey in Kingdom Hearts 3, so we have to take into context that he is also not using his preferred weapon of choice, and he could easily move up to S tier once he gets a Keyblade, which is his original weapon from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Moving on in the S tier to finish out this list is Master Xehanort and Master Ericus. Master Xehanort being the big bad of the series, manipulating everybody, taking over Terra's body, trapping Aqua in the realm of darkness, and doing all of these dastardly things, is a person who believes in the power of darkness and how he needed to use darkness and basically fill the realm of light with darkness to balance it out, because he felt like there was too much light in the realms and it was overpowering the darkness, which led to a lot of weak people. And going over to his friend Master Ericus is basically the same thing as Master Xehanort, except he uses the power of light. So if we perceive the fact that they were both apprentices at the same time, they're best friends and relatively equal in power, seeing as neither one of them ever were able to take out each other, we have to assume that they're somewhat on the same power scale. So that's why these two are both going to stay in S tier as well. Moving on into Sora, the main character, our baby boy, the character that we all love to see be happy, but unfortunately he's not at the moment. Unlocked the power of waking, has defeated Ansem Seeker of Darkness with the help of Donald and Goofy, has defeated Xemnas with the help of Riku, has defeated Xemnas again by himself single-handedly, has defeated Marluxia by himself single-handedly, and there's just too many accolades to name. Sora is the main character of the series. He has also defeated Master Xehanort with the help of Donald and Goofy, but that was mostly him, and he is also well on his way to becoming a Keyblade Master eventually. So with that being said, in all of the context throughout the series, he obviously has to be S tier, but is not messing with the Master of Masters, who is perceived to be the strongest character that we have seen so far. Next, Riku, his best friend, a character who has defeated Ansem Seeker of Darkness solo on 2 separate occasions, has also fought in the great battle of the 13 Darknesses versus the 7 Lights at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and is the only singular character in the series to consistently use both the power of light and darkness at will, which makes him a very unique and a very difficult fighter to fight against. So there's really not too much more to say here. Roxas, again, the nobody of Sora and an offensive powerhouse. He's a character who has beaten Sayax solo on 1 separate occasion, and on many occasions has wanted to go against Xemnas by himself, and seeing as he is the nobody of Sora and essentially has all the abilities that he has, I would imagine that he would be able to single-handedly take out Xemnas. That's really why he's an S tier. He's essentially the same thing as Sora, and plus he has the dual wielding ability and has a no-nonsense attitude unlike his somebody counterpart. And the last character that I want to talk about is Xemnas. Obviously the nobody of Terranort, the combination of Master Xehanort and Terra. He also has the ability to use a Keyblade, but chose never to use it for whatever reason that he wanted to. And honestly, now that I think about it, Xemnas is going to be moved down to A tier, because while there are some things that I would try to say that puts him above everybody else on A tier, I really can't say so, because that's really me in my perception of the story. But let me know your opinions of this list down below. How do you feel about my power tier list? Do you agree with it? Would you move some people around? Did you like some of my explanations? I know I was kind of going through this pretty fast, but that's mainly because I don't have a lot of time, because I'm trying to get ready to pack, because I'm going to be going on vacation very soon for a little bit, and I want to get 1 video out before I go. So with that being said, it has been your boy Skipx. Let me know your opinions on this down below. Let me know if you disagree, you do agree, and I will see you all in the next one.